What is going on, squad? In this one, we're going to talk about Pokemon cards as an investment question mark. For a lot of you, maybe you're millennials, maybe you're Gen Zs. I myself used to be not obsessed, but I really did enjoy playing Pokemon on the Game Boy, trading cards, having the binders, taking it to summer camp, taking it to school, flexing with the friends, trading. I learned a lot from Pokemon. There's a lot of core memories I have playing Pokemon. And the $1 million question is we've seen a lot of individuals starting to pour money into Pokemon cards as a collectible, as an alternate investment. And I want to dive into why Charizards are going for 100,000, why Logan Paul bought a Pokemon card for $5.3 million, and the context behind that. All right, so let's get started. The first piece here that I have on the letter was biggest IP ever, period. All right, so I'm going to read you quote from what I wrote. It said, Pokemon by the numbers is the biggest IP in the entire world. Bigger than Star Wars, Harry Potter, Batman, Scooby-Doo, Super Mario, Disney, every single one of them. On ChatGPT, it said that Pokemon has made roughly $147 billion in total lifetime revenue in the form of video games, trading cards, and merchandise. All right. So for the trading cards itself, this is something that I got from Wall Street. I was about to say the Wall Street Bobby Journal, the Wall Street Journal, where it says that Pokemon cards have seen more than a 3,000% return over the course of 20 years. So since 2004, Pokemon cards have gone up in terms of prices 3,000%, which significantly outperforms the S&P 500. On the letter, you could see the chart, but it shows here over the past 20 years, Pokemon cards has gone up 3,200%. Basketball cards have gone up 1,000%. Baseball cards have gone up 700%, and the S&P 500 has gone up 420%. Again, does this necessarily mean I'm going to start putting all my money in Pokemon cards? No, absolutely not. I'm not. There's a couple of reasons behind it, which we'll explain. But first, let's keep going through the sequence. All right, so first and foremost, how did this wave start? Like, why has it been that Pokemon has surged? I feel like there's several reasons. First one is during the pandemic, during COVID, there was this time where a lot of us had nothing to do. We were stuck in our homes. People started kind of reminiscing on the good old days, started finding their Pokemon cards, and this created kind of that wave of Pokemon cards seeing a huge increase in price. We saw the rapper Logic buy Pokemon cards. We saw Logan Paul buy Pokemon cards. So influencers started getting into it, artists, celebrities, and this obviously prompts up the value because now all of a sudden people are kind of going back to nostalgia and wanting to participate in this. All right. So long story short, COVID was the first driver. The second driver that I have is as a millennial right now, currently being 30 years old, we're in this gap where a lot of us are making a decent living and we're old enough to maybe afford to splurge on some Pokemon cards. And for our generation, this is peak core memories, like I mentioned again. And with Funko Pops or with watches or with cars or with Pablo Picasso paintings, at the end of the day, the value doesn't have to be intrinsic, right? Again, like people sometimes ask, why would a Charizard go for $100,000? It doesn't do anything. That's not the point. Since the dawn of civilization, people have valued art, people have valued something that has some sort of sentimental value to them, and it doesn't have to produce any cash flow, it just has to really mean something to them. Obviously, supply and demand 101 comes into play as well. If there is a specific Charizard card and there's only maybe a few that are in perfect condition and there's X number of collectors, well, that prompts a price. Okay, so typically with Pokemon cards or any card in general, the way it works is the quality is something that's very important. As I put in the letter, PSA is the kind of go checker of the quality of these cards. So ideally, you would have a card, you would send it to PSA, they would get it graded from 1 to 10, 10 being the absolute perfect card, 1 being absolute dog shit. So that's effectively how the grading scale goes. In the event of Pokemon cards as an investment, again, I am not someone that is investing in Pokemon cards currently. You know, maybe I'll do it for fun at some point. But again, the point of this is to understand fundamentally why these cards are having value and to explain that to you. Uh, my take as well with trading cards and collectibles with IP, even though it is the biggest IP of all time, I still feel like there's a lot of work to be done because if the next generation doesn't care about Pokemon as much as we did, eventually in 50 years or 80 years, no one's going to really care about Pokemon cards like we did. So I think there's a life shelf to this. We've seen Batman and Star Wars and Disney have longevity, so I do feel like Pokemon definitely has a chance to keep that IP up. And I think this is different from sports cards because with the MLB, with the NBA, these leagues have primarily have waves as well, but I feel like their brands are more consistent in where the next generation will continue to love playing basketball or playing baseball, and thus cards in that space I think are less volatile. Again, I have no idea. I'm not like a sports cards collector or anything of that sort, but that's just kind of my personal interpretation. So could the value of Pokemon cards keep going up? Potentially. Could it go down? For sure. All I know is that sports cards and memorabilia and art is something that could potentially build us wealth without the bullshit. Let's go.